Hi there. If you've been easy prey for a manipulator, I want to help you break free. But first, you have to understand that you will never change the manipulator when you confront their manipulative tactics directly, because they'll just switch to another tactic. So if the guilt trip doesn't work, they'll badger you, or give you the silent treatment, or appeal to a higher authority, such as God. So if you want to stop being manipulated, change has to start with you. You have to recognize that someone is attempting to manipulate you, because awareness is the first step of any kind of change. Manipulation is only effective if it works to control you or intimidate you. Therefore, you have to begin to identify in you what's going on that keeps you so easily manipulated by other people. The three most common reasons that we allow ourselves to be manipulated are: first, we're too nice and have no boundaries. Second, we feel afraid or we feel guilty with our no. And third, we can't tolerate someone's unpleasant emotions. So let's look at these. First, you're just too nice and you have no boundaries. You enjoy being a giver, making people happy, and taking care of other people's needs. I do too, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you don't have a clear sense of your own self and don't have the ability to say no when you want to, manipulators sense this in you and exploit it to their own advantage. And that leads you to fear. And that's the second reason why we don't say no. We fear rejection, or we fear the disapproval of others, or we fear making someone unhappy with us. We also fear their threats and even the consequences of the manipulator's actions. What if they actually succeed at doing what they threatened? We also feel guilt because we live under this lie that we should always put other people's wants and needs ahead of our own. That's what a Christian does. And so when we try to speak up or put our own needs out there, manipulators will exploit us and attempt to make us feel like we're doing something wrong if we don't always put their wants and their needs ahead of our own. Manipulators define love as you always do what I want or need you to do. And therefore, if you have a different opinion or a different need or a different want or different feelings, you're told you're unloving. And then you start to feel guilty if you express what you want to do or you want something different. So how do you overcome a manipulator's tactics? First, you have to develop a clear sense of who you are. You need to know what you want, what you feel, and what you like, and what you don't like, and what you don't want. And you don't need to apologize for knowing that. This is what makes you, you. Oftentimes we fear that if we tell people what we need or feel or think or like, we're being selfish. But it isn't selfish to know who you are or what you want. That's healthy. Selfishness is demanding that you always get what you want or that other people always put you first. In the same way, when someone else demands that of you, they're being selfish and disrespectful of your personhood. Jesus knew who he was. And because of his strong identity in who God said he wasn't easily manipulated. When people wanted him to do things the Father did not call him to do. He also was not derailed when other people defined him as crazy or demon-possessed. Second, you have to develop the ability to say no in the face of someone's disapproval. Healthy people live in reality. So the truth is, when you can't accommodate someone else's desires or needs, naturally they're going to feel disappointed. That's human. And most people get over it. They adjust and move on. Healthy people know that they don't always get everything they want, even if what they want is legitimate. However, when we can't tolerate their disappointment in us or their disapproval when we say no, then it's harder for us to say no, or it's harder for us to have boundaries, and manipulators will capitalize on your own weakness and use disappointment and disapproval in extreme forms to get you to do what they want you to do. Read Mark chapter 1, verses 29 through 39, and see how Jesus said no to Peter and his friends who were waiting to get healed. I bet they felt disappointed. How did Jesus handle that? And lastly, you're going to have to learn to tolerate someone else's negative affect, their disappointment, their sadness, and anger, without you backing down. You can show a lot of empathy for someone else's sadness or hurt or even anger when you can't accommodate him or her, without backing down and reversing your decision. For example, if you felt your mother was manipulating you to get you to come home for the holidays, and you don't want to be manipulated into saying yes, you want to say no, here's what you might say. Hey, Mom, I know this is hard for you, and I understand that you're disappointed and sad that we won't be there this Christmas. And I hope you will try to understand it's just too difficult for us to travel that far over the holiday with the children. And then stop. Let her deal with her feelings. Remember, a healthy relationship is characterized by mutuality, reciprocity, and freedom. If you're in a relationship with someone who uses manipulation regularly, as you get stronger and healthier, you can invite him or her into healthy change simply by not allowing yourself to be manipulated. This will create a crisis of sorts in your relationship, but now either the manipulator will begin to back down and respect your time, your feelings, your desire, and your need, Or they'll move on to another target who's much more easily manipulated, because you're not going to let that be you anymore, right? Until next time, God bless. And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend.